And once you feel that, those sitting bones grounded to the earth, will you just reach your hands down to the ground on either side of you and feel the floor. Might be with fingertips or flat hands, but just feel that there is earth here holding you. And allow yourself to arrive on this little 2 foot by 6 foot island called my yoga mat. And once you've arrived here, close your eyes and bring yourself inside this body, this vessel that arrived here this morning. Start to take deeper breaths, and each breath allows you to be taller and also more broad. Just let your breath fill you up so you take up more space. You can let your hands come to your lap if that's more comfortable to you. But start to make your breath more rhythmic now. The inhale and the exhale equal in measure. So you might count 3 counts in and 3 counts out. 3 in and 3 out. I was reading an article recently. It was about climate change and this season that we're in. And this quote by an Eskimo shaman really caught me because I think it explains more than just melting ice caps. He said that in order to impact our external environment, we must tend to our internal environment. In other words, the most important ice to melt is the ice in our hearts. Without doing so, mankind will not be able to use its knowledge wisely. The most important ice to melt is the ice in our hearts. And so this morning's practice, after we've all been, through the blender, and we came out of last week on one side or the other of an announcement, and so our heart is feeling a certain way. And maybe if you just reflect on someone who feels differently than you, you might feel a little bit of that ice in your heart. I know I do. So I'd like to ask you in this practice, first of all, to bring your hands together in front of you and just press them together with a little bit of firmness. Feel the right hand pressing into left. And then rub your hands vigorously and rub your hands with a firmness that starts to create heat. And maybe get one hand over around the thumb and then the other, so you really can kind of warm the edges of your hands, your fingertips. Make heat. Make heat. And then bring one of your hands to your heart and the other over it, and feel just a little bit of heat covering the space of your heart. And imagine the heat from your hands sinking into your chest. In this morning's practice, I have 5 suggestions for us to begin to melt the ice in our hearts. And the first suggestion is waking up to gratitude. Bring to mind in this moment just one thing you feel gratitude for. And notice a softening underneath your hands when you just think about that one thing. Waking up to gratitude. Let's hold on to that gratitude as we move through these first few shapes. So bringing the hands back together again in front of your heart. Inhale to open your arms out wide. And then exhale, draw the hands back toward the heart. Almost like wings, moving with your breath. Begin to add a little bit of a lift of your chin on the inhale and a tuck of your chin on the exhale. You might even feel like being a little bit creative and moving the arms higher or lower, more bent or more straight. Match your movement with your breath. We'll do that 3 more times. Big open and close. Moving with a sense of gratitude. Next time your hands come in, interlace your fingers, press the palms forward. Press the palms forward like you can push the wall in front of you away, and then also round your back, open up your shoulder blades. Drop your chin to your chest and feel this opening between your shoulders. Rocking forward, release your hands, let the hands float up high and lower down so that the fingertips come to the earth behind you, and open up your chest here. Take a breath into your collarbones and bring to mind another thing in your life that you're grateful for. Holding two gratitudes. Releasing back to center. Keep your right fingertips on the floor. Let your left arm reach up high and come into a side bend. And you're welcome to put weight in that right hand. You might even be bending that elbow. What allows you to find more space here in the side of your body. Bring breath to your left rib cage. And then bend your elbow. Let's pull that elbow back, just a little more shoulder opening. And on the exhale, round your back, bring your elbow toward your right knee. Move with breath. Imagine your hands warm, still on your chest like a heating pad. And with each movement, that heat seeps under your skin and surrounds your heart and your lungs. Just building a little internal fire. And let's allow the left hand to touch the right knee. Bring your spine up straight and twist toward your right side. Wrapping your right scapula, shoulder blade onto your back. Breathe here. And float yourself gently back to center. Left hand to the floor, right arm comes up. Finding this side bend here for your body. It can be small, it can be big. Fill your right rib cage with breath. Beautiful. Awesome, you guys. Bend your elbow and then just create this easy movement. Elbow back, elbow forward. Your job is to just explore underneath your skin, to be curious about what you find here, to move differently, to make some new space under your skin. And let's allow that right hand to touch the left knee, come to an upright spine. Left hand sits softly behind you as you find a twist. Slow, rhythmic breathing. Just soften your face, your jaw. Pull your left shoulder more onto your back. And then return back to center. I'm just going to change the shape of the legs a little bit. We're going to come into a shape called mermaid. So if you can just bend your right foot out and your left foot in here. For some of us, it might be easier to be up on a block or a bolster if this doesn't feel really fabulous to your knees. And so we're going to start with the right hand out, and again, the left arm up. This is going to give us a little more access to the waist and lower, below the waistband. So pressing down through the left hip, lift your left shoulder here. Really beautiful, everyone. Release the fingers and start to turn your body toward that left leg and walk your hands forward. We're going to come down to elbows here and just breathe. This is real, kind of similar to pigeon with your knees in a lot softer position. And as you rest on your elbows, reach your right sitting bone toward the floor. So there's a little stretch through your hips, your sacrum, your low back. Deep, slow breaths here. As we ease our way back to center, we'll keep this left leg bent and extend the right leg straight out to the side. One more side bend, leaning over now the extended right leg. So this should bring the sensation even deeper, closer to your hip. Bring your left hand onto your waist or your low back and start to peel that shoulder backwards. Think of lifting your chest up and open. And let your breath do the work of deepening the sensation here. Gorgeous. As we come up to an upright spine, angle your body toward that straight leg. And you can adjust your hips a little bit. We're just going to lower over the leg forward and back. So we're not going for a really deep stretch. We're just going for a little massage and length in the hamstring. So as you exhale, the chin comes toward the right foot, and you inhale and we glide back up. You can feel the movement in your hip more than your back. And just a hamstring waking up. And we'll go one more time over. Pause where you feel a gentle stretch, not a deep stretch, just a gentle awakening stretch. Let your breath go all the way out here. As we come back up to center, nice and easy, you're just going to let that knee open up a little bit. Okay, Cynthia, this one's going to be tricky for you. You might want to be on elbow. Everyone, we're just going to come to our left hand behind us, our right arm out in front, and we're going to come up onto that knee. Cynthia, can you do that on an elbow? Yeah, awesome. Good. So reach your fingers back now, everybody. So your body is making this nice big arc. Pull your right fingers farther away from your right toes and breathe, side body. Beautiful. One more giant breath. Look back towards your fingers and return to your seat. And I just feel like going, We're going to switch our legs, mermaid on the other side. So come up onto a block if that feels helpful to you. You guys know my hips are tight, so when I sit like this, my other hip is never all the way on the floor. So if you can relate to that, there you go. All right, left fingertips down, right arm comes up, a little deeper side stretch now, coming into the waist. So our first practice this morning is waking up to gratitude. The second is to sit in acceptance, to be here right now with what is. Some of you are dealing with an injury this morning, and so it's sitting in that acceptance that that's here now. Go ahead and come over the side, and we'll start to turn toward the right leg and ease ourselves down to elbows now. Maybe we just sit in acceptance with the weather being different than our favorite season, or the news. The practice of sitting in acceptance is a way to soften our hearts. The yoga word for this is santosha. It goes beyond accepting what is and asks us to be content with what is. Deep, slow breaths, my friends. Sitting in acceptance. It's like this now. Let's gently bring ourselves back to sitting, and we'll extend this left leg. And just adjusting what you need to face that bent, that straight leg, and we'll just start to roll down and up the leg. I have an adorable little 86-year-old that takes my senior yoga class, and she calls this the taking off your silk stockings movement. So Paul, you just pretend you're taking off your silk stockings. Good, and we'll just ease ourselves down to a gentle stretch. Try to not go to the absolute edge. Find ease here as your body just lengthens and resets. And coming back, angling our torso more toward the bent leg. Let's bend sideways over the straight leg. So again, this is a deeper stretch. You'll feel this probably below your waistband, and you can leave your hand down, or if you wish, you can extend that arm. But kind of pay attention to what's happening in the right side of your low back. Slow, steady breath. Sitting in acceptance of all of it, just like this. And as we ease our way back to center, we'll take the right hand to the floor behind us. Left arm out front leads the way to pull us up onto our right knee. And just find the place where you can really expand here. Once your body has reached its edge, use your breath to take you a little further under the skin. And release back down to the earth. Really nice, everybody. Bring your knees together. We're going to come around into child's pose. So give yourself time to settle here in the way that you like to, knees wide or narrow. Any props that you want to bring in to put under your hips or under your head. We'll be here for a few breaths. If it's possible, allow your forehead to rest on something. If not the mat, then your hand or a block. Let there be a little pressure on your third eye, your brow point, your place of wisdom, the part of you that knows that it's all temporary. It's all temporary. It's just like this now. And that wise part knows that to sit in acceptance is the way to be at peace with things as they are, and they are not. It's all temporary. Let your belly lower as you inhale. Really fill your belly with breath. And as you release, let your head come up, come onto your forearms and knees. So we're in a little tabletop position with our forearms on the ground and our fingers spread wide. In this position, come into what will feel like cow to you, cow pose, but we're down on our elbows. See if you can feel your heart pulling forward, your tailbone lifting. As you exhale, round your back into a cat shape on your elbows. That should bring sensation a little higher, a little more shoulder action. Let's move with breath a few times like that. Inhale. Exhale. Just feeling the length of your spine in the front and the back, noticing points of tension. And then see what feels like neutral to you. I'm going to start to bring ourselves up onto our knees. And to stand on your calves. Sorry, your shins. It'd be really hard to stand on your calves, wouldn't it? All right, bring your hands to your glutes, a little bit below your low back, just a modified version of camel. And we're going to do a little flow here. So on your inhale, one arm comes up and back. And on your exhale, that hand replaces. Inhale to switch. Exhale, replace. If you're feeling okay with that, inhale both. And as you exhale, lower down, bring those forearms back to the earth, go all the way into your rounded cat-like shape, chin tucks to chest. And then let's go again. Come up to stand on your shins, hands to hips, one arm at a time. Move with your breath. One arm at a time and then both. Moving slowly. And as this exhale comes, lower down, forearms around your back all the way into that cat shape, chin to chest, hips lift high. Let's go one more time through that camel flow, one arm at a time. Breathe. Beautiful, you guys, both arms. And find your way to forearms. Tuck your chin, round your spine, tailbone comes under. As we come back up to our knees, let's bring the right foot forward, lowering yourself down into a kneeling lunge. Take a moment here to decide if you want to be up a little higher or down a little lower. You want to feel stretch in the hip flexor without pain in the back. So you can find your place for that. Just finding some patience here as that hip flexor begins to open. So you're welcome to stay right here and just continue breathing in this wonderful hip stretch. If you'd like a little more, press up onto your front knee and create a little back bend. Create a little lean backwards. Great place to stay. If you'd like even more, bring your arms behind you like you're on the front of the Titanic. Let your heart reach forward. Sing if you know the words. I know my heart will go on. Breathe into the front of your body. Imagine that heat seeping its way in. Gratitude and acceptance. And as we release, we'll bring the fingertips to the floor, allowing us to tuck our toes under. Let's lift that back knee off the ground. Using our front leg to help us, we'll come up into high lunge. Find balance here. Yep, Ron, you're right. Arms overhead. And then if it feels okay to you, hook your thumbs. Hook your thumbs and let your hands reach up, 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 and back. Think of maybe touching the place where the wall meets the ceiling behind you. Heart lifts, spine lengthens, body expands. We'll release the hands down in front of us, really slowly transition back to the ground, and we'll step our back foot to meet our front foot. Pausing here in forward fold with soft knees, ragdoll if you like, and just notice. There should be a big difference, left side to right side. Shift your weight to the left and shift your weight to the right. Gratitude, acceptance. Big exhale, friends. And with fingertips lightly on the floor, let's reach our right foot back, dropping the right knee to the earth, and finding a lunge on this second side. Again, we've got several breaths here. You can stay low or lift up, but give your hip flexor a chance to unwind. It's a super tight muscle in all of our bodies. Maybe bring to mind one more thing in your life you're grateful for in this moment. Have 3 gratitudes. And one thing that you can agree to just hold in acceptance, something that's maybe challenging, and you sit in acceptance. Let's bring our hands to the knee, unless you prefer to stay on the floor, your choice. And you can just use a little pressure here to start to create a tiny little back bend. If that works for you and you want more, arms come behind. Lean in, open up. Lean in and open up. Space around your heart getting warmer, lighter, brighter. So beautiful, everyone. Reach your fingers to the floor, tuck your toes, let the knee come off the earth, and then let's lift high. This time, find the awkward way to hook your thumbs. The first way is your natural way. Go the other way, and then lift as tall as you can through the arms and start the reaching backwards. Not to a point of pain, just big stretch and sensation in your body. Breathe, everybody. Sigh. Let's slowly return to that forward fold Uttanasana. Stepping the back foot up, softening the knees. Pausing here. And then bringing hands to shins, let's lift halfway. Keep your knees kind of bent so that you can press your shin bones into your hands and create some length in your spine. Feel your shoulder blades pulling down towards your hips and the head reaching forward. Keep this shape in your body. Let your arms reach behind you. Airplane arms, feeling strength in your upper back. Beautiful. And then with the bend in the knees, let's scoop the arms slowly up high and maybe slightly back. You can just see what your body is ready for. Exhale, bend the knees, scoop the arms back, airplane. Inhale, lift high. Start to move with your breath. Bend your knees as much as you can. Great range of motion in your shoulders in both directions. As you come forward, that might turn into a little more of a forward fold and a bigger back bend. Two opposites. Go one more time in both directions. Inhale, lifting to extended mountain, reach high. We're going to come into a side body stretch again. So dropping the left arm to your side, reaching the right arm up. Imagine that you're holding onto a handle above your head. And I want you to pull yourself up with that handle. So the arm is straight as the body angles to the side. So you might see how far your spine allows you to bend with that arm pulling you higher. Breathe here, friends. Find the side. Good, and as we come back to center, both arms lift, switch. Right arm down, left arm high. Grab a hold of that handle and pull yourself up like an anchor in the ceiling as your body bends sideways. Good, find more space here, more space in the side body. So beautiful, both arms come up. On the exhale, release the hands down to your sides and your feet are going to come a little bit wider. And we're just going to twist easy from side to side. Just going to do a little bit of swinging rotation of the spine. Just feel the fluidity in the middle of your body, that axis that you're twisting around. And then slow that down. Let's turn to the side of our mat and we'll take a little deeper twist here. So the feet are going to come out wide. Let's open the arms out to a T and using your core muscles to hinge from your hips, shift to a flat back. Keeping that flat back, bring your left hands to the floor in front of you and your right arm up. Twisting straddle. Fire up a little bit of Ujjayi breath. Take one more deep inhale. And then exhale to switch sides. Right fingers down, left arm up. Feel your body breathing here. Release your fingers to the earth. Walk your hands way out in front of you and pull your hips back. So this is going to feel like a really wide downward facing dog. You can adjust your feet however you like. You can soften your knees. You can be light on your fingertips, or you can press your hands into the earth and pull your body back away from your hands. Let your chest drop closer to the earth. Easing your way back to center. From that to this nice flat back. Heel toe in just a little bit so that you can come into goddess. So hands to the thighs, knees out. Option to stay right here, and it is a lot of work right here. Bring your hands to your heart. If you'd like to go a little deeper, keep kind of wiggling until you can touch your elbows to your knees. And if your knees and hips say yes, go ahead and come down into Malasana, prayer squat. If this is uncomfortable, grab a cushion or a block to sit on. We'll be here for a few breaths. Press your elbows out and squeeze your knees in, everybody. The spine lengthens, the head lifts. Nice. Really beautiful. Let your hands release. Start to straighten your legs. Heel toe out so that you're wide again. We'll bring the hands to the hips and rise up to standing. Wiggle out your hips a bit. So turn your right toes to the top of your mat. Right toes. I'm mirroring you. And then go ahead and come down into Warrior Two on the right side. Awesome. We're going to do something a little bit different here. Hands to heart. And so your spine is nice and straight. You're in warrior pose, but just start to turn toward your bent leg. And that might be enough of a stretch in that back hip flexor that you pause here. If you're feeling a green light, just shift your torso forward a little bit more over that right leg, and your back foot is still flat. It's a strong pose. And if you still are getting the go ahead, you can begin to twist your Warrior Two. That's asking a lot of our knees, our hips, and our spine. So find the place that your body needs to be here. Open up the space around your heart, shoulders, and float back to center, upright spine. Come back to neutral, square your feet. Shake out your hands a little bit. Ooh, turn your left toes to the top of the mat. Find Warrior Two. Exhale to relax your shoulders, friends. Bring your hands to your heart. And begin to turn just the slightest amount toward your left leg until you feel that stretch in that back hip flexor. And that might be where you choose to stay. If you're curious and you'd like to go a little further, go ahead and shift forward over your bent leg, keeping that back foot strong. And if a twist feels like a good idea, bring your right elbow to your left knee. Back leg stays firm. This is a hard pose if you really are intentional about the alignment. Deep breaths here, friends. And slowly unwind, come back to neutral in the center. Toes wide, fingers lift. We're going to do one more little kind of Kriya movement before we take ourselves to the floor. So sunflowers, bend down and lift up. And I invite you to use these as cleansing breaths. So you might really force an exhale and sniff in a really deep and big inhale. The third suggestion for this morning in softening, melting the ice around our hearts is to walk in awe, to be in awe. How about if we start by just standing in awe of this human body and the way it moves and functions? all of the things happening without our control. Circulation, oxygen exchanged for CO2, the sense of touch, smell, sight, and sound. Can we walk today in awe of the miracle that we are and the miracles around us? Take one more deep breath in, friends. Open yourself wide to the possibilities of this day and this life. With your hands coming into your heart center. Gratitude, acceptance, and awe. I'd like to invite you to transition down to the floor. We're actually going to meet all the way down on our backs. But if you'd like to take a vinyasa on your way there, if there's some kind of movement or stretch that your body wants to take as you make your way to the earth, go ahead and do that now. Maybe it's just a forward fold. Maybe it's, I want to get on my back. When you get to your back, hug your knees into your chest, holding one knee in each hand, and allow the knees to move separately, differently from one another. Feel the awe of the way a femur bone moves in a hip socket. Think of all the work we ask these hips to do. It's amazing that they just continue functioning for us like they do. Let's place our feet on the mat and lift up into bridge pose. So if you'd like restorative bridge or gentle, you're welcome to put something under your hips. You can keep your arms resting here or interlace beneath you. Allow your breath once again to encircle your heart. Underneath your skin, your blood pumping 98.7 degrees. Warmth flowing through your heart. Melting drop by drop any ice that might have formed. Another suggestion is to celebrate the small things, like this moment that you set aside for yourself to be with your breath and in your body. Like the sunlight coming through your window, or an animal in the room with you, or the coffee that awaits you. What's a small celebration? Ease your way from this pose down onto your back. Take any movement that you like to get there, and we will begin to move into Shavasana. Before you completely unfold yourself into Shavasana, I'd like to ask you to wrap your arms around your own chest and give yourself a hug. A hug is another beautiful way to melt any ice in our hearts, even if it's a hug from ourselves. Many of us are starved for human connection right now, isolated, not enjoying the hugs that we would love to have. So give yourself this moment. And then softly, when you're ready, just release your arms to the earth, lower your legs, find a comfortable way to rest here in Shavasana. using any props or coverings. We'll be here for about 3 minutes. So we wake up to gratitude. We sit in acceptance. We walk in awe. We celebrate the small things. Whenever possible, we hug. The author continues, the art of melting our ice begins with consciousness. Being aware of our inner landscape and understanding our emotions and thoughts that drive our behaviors toward ourselves, others, and our environment. This is taking responsibility for melting our own ice. Mastering our inner world is truly taking a step to creating world peace. Enjoy the melting of ice within you. Take a nice deep breath in that fills your whole body, and allow yourself to sigh as you exhale. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Let your body move in a tender way as you begin to come back to a seat. Let's bring our hands together once again, just in front of our hearts. Thank you all so much for making time for a yoga practice today. My sincere hope is that all of us leave here with a little more warmth, a little more softness for ourselves and for each other. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.